Hello and welcome to Valuechain News. I am Naomi Oleribi. First, the headlines. Nigeria's crude oil production rises by 70,000 barrels per day, survey. NSCDC impounds 5 tankers with 166,000 liters of AGO. CBN's intervention pushes up power asset upgrade. And now, the news in detail. Nigeria's crude oil production increased by 70,000 barrels per day in May, according to a Reuters survey released yesterday. The document showed that the country's crude oil production averaged 1.42 million barrels per day in May. The figure is 70,000 barrels per day higher than the average crude oil production in April, which stood at 1.35 million barrels per day. The survey stated the increase in the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries OPEC oil output in May exceeded the rise planned under a deal with allies for the first time since February. This was due to a higher Saudi and Iraqi supply combined with a partial recovery in outage hit Nigeria. The 10 members of OPEC bound by the deal pumped 24.73 million barrels per day in May, up 280,000 barrels per day from April and above the 274,000 barrels per day increase called for by the accord. The biggest rise in May of 100,000 barrels per day came from Saudi Arabia. The second largest of 70,000 barrels per day came from Nigeria, which loading schedules indicate boosted exports in May, even though key crude stream Bonny Light remains under force majeure. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has said it is resolute in the fight against illegal oil bunkering activities, which has led to impounding of 5 tankers laden with 166,000 liters of locally refined automotive gas oil, otherwise known as diesel. The unit commander, NSCDC Special Anti-Vandal Monitoring Unit, Bra Umoru Samson, who disclosed this in Port Harcourt, expressed the commitment of the Corps to safeguarding all critical national assets and infrastructure across the country. He said the squad was not limited to fighting the menace of oil theft and illegal bunkering, but also to safeguard all national infrastructure such as oil pipelines, electrical installations, armored cable, transformers, water pipes, amongst others. He added that the River State Commandant Abu Tambuwal FCAI has directed that a thorough investigation be made to apprehend the suspects, while the state command will also approach the court after the conclusion of investigation. The management of a coal distribution company, EKEDC, has said that it is judiciously expending funds meant for asset upgrade, especially in the areas of infrastructure such as 11 kV and 33 kV feeders and switchgear, to assist the DISCO in delivering adequate and reliable power supply. The pledge was made after the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, applauded the distribution company for its efforts in achieving the federal government and CBN's intervention schemes in the power sector. The CBN delegation, led by the Director of Development Finance, Yusuf Yila, was accompanied by the Director of Strategy Management, Clement Buhari, and the Director of Trade and Exchange, Ozemena Nnaji. Yila reviewed, "We are here to ensure that the funds disbursed are adequately utilized and to listen to the challenges that have emanated in the course of implementing these projects," emphasizing that the National Mass Metering Scheme is important to the CBN, as the tour was also meant to carry out due diligence on the execution of Phase 0 of the scheme and how the Apex Bank and the DISCO can collaborate better in proceeding to the next phase. And Angola's national oil company, Sonangol Group, has expressed its wishes to collaborate with the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPC) in the downstream sector reforms in Angola. A delegation from Sonangol, Africa's second-largest oil producer, paid a courtesy visit to the NNPC's headquarters in Abuja to understudy the company's downstream operations and lay the foundation for new partnerships. Speaking during the visit, Anna Paula, the head of the delegation and member of Sonangol's executive committee in charge of distributions, said the delegates were in Nigeria to seek collaboration. According to her, Angola is in transition from a monopolistic market to a competitive market, and Sonangol needs to learn from an established and functional system like the NNPC. Umar Ajia, NNPC's chief financial officer, said the company was committed to working with African companies to add value to their hydrocarbon value chain and create energy security for the continent. He assured the Angolan delegation that NNPC is happy to share its experience with the group, stressing that the visit was timely as NNPC is currently transiting to a limited liability company with its business processes changing to become more commercially focused and efficient. The Sonangol team was taken on a tour of a number of NNPC's downstream facilities in Abuja, Lagos, and Ogun State. The statement added. Russia's state-owned energy giant Gazprom said it has halted the supply of gas to Danish utility Ørsted AS and Shell Energy Europe as expected. Gazprom made this known in a statement on its website. The move comes a day after Gazprom said Ørsted and Shell had refused to pay their invoices in rubles as demanded by Moscow. Gazprom made the reference to the decree by Russian President Vladimir Putin, who said all countries the Kremlin deemed unfriendly had to pay for energy in the Russian currency as of April as a way to help prop up the ruble, otherwise delivery would stop. Malam Tijani Musa Isa, newly installed 58th president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, has said that the institute as a professional body will partner with the government to redefine national values, economic priorities, and resource utilization strategies such that the mass of the citizenry can be lifted out of avoidable poverty. Isa made the pledge on Tuesday while reading his acceptance speech as the 58th president of the institute at ICAN head office in Victoria Island, Lagos. He said ICAN will use its professional expertise to support stakeholders in the informal sector whose unsung value-creating activities will define the position of the nation on the ladder of sustainable development. Before we end the news, here's a recap of our headlines. Nigeria's crude oil production rises by 70,000 barrels per day, survey. NSCDC impounds 5 tankers with 166,000 liters of AGO. CBN's intervention pushes up power asset upgrade. And that's the news. I am Naomi Oleribe. Good evening.